Live. Let's go live. Come on in. Come on in. Hey everyone, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. What is going on, everyone? Happy Friday. I hope everyone is doing well. Don't forget to let me know where you're watching from, what the temperature is there. That's always great to know. And your thoughts, because I posted a poll in our YouTube live chat, but I know some of you are watching on Facebook, some of you are watching on Twitch, Twitter, or TikTok. I asked the question in our live poll, who was more wrong in this fight between Joseline Hernandez and Amber Rose? So as you know, there's been a lot of conversation since yesterday because a lot of fans are upset that BET Plus decided to edit out the physical altercation between Joseline Hernandez and Amber Rose on College Hill Celebrity Edition. So as you know, we have been talking about College Hill Celebrity Edition since the first season, but we've been recapping it on our Tuesday takeover. But this conversation was so important for us to talk about, and especially because it's Pride Month, I thought, let's go live today because we didn't have anything else that we needed to talk about. So I said this would be the perfect time, especially because the episode just came out as well. So we're going to get into a countdown. So buckle up. Members, you will have first access to call in and share your thoughts. We're going to go over the episode and some of the things that people have been saying on social media because social media is mad at BET Plus. People are calling out Amber Rose for a past interview that she did on Hot 97 where she says she doesn't claim being a black woman. Well, we're going to get into all of that. Some people are calling Joseline Hernandez a bully. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unpack it. Like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. And let's get into a countdown.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer. Just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back, guys, to the channel. This is our recap and conversation about the latest episode of College Hill Celebrity Edition. And look, New York has been my favorite part of this show. It's so sad that this show took a turn, but we already saw from the trailer this fight. Sidebar BET, I know you decided not to show the fight, but you showed it, at least some of it, in the trailer, right? So, because how do we get, wait, where's my image? How do we get this image if y'all didn't show any of this? Hold on, where's that image? Where is it? Where is it? I had it. Where did I do with that? Hold on, y'all. I thought I had the image. What did I do with the image? Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. No, I have this image. I'm going to find the image, but we have an image of this fight from the trailer. But they decided not to show it. And apparently a lot of people are upset. Well, not upset. Okay, there are people on social media that are bothered that BET Plus decided not to show the fight. I'm not surprised. BET is not Zeus. Look, BET is not Zeus. So I'm not surprised that they decided not to include this physical altercation, especially because of the energy of this show. Yes, we get a little comedy. Yes, we get a little drama. But the energy of the show is that these celebrities are going back to these HBCUs and educating the world and us about some of the things that we weren't taught in school. It's really, that's not the energy of the show. The energy of the show is a very positive vibe. So, you know, I was a little concerned when they told me Joseline Hernandez was going to be on the show. As soon as they announced it, I was like, she's coming from Zeus. Like, Joseline hasn't changed. Joseline, look, Joseline hasn't changed. And then seeing Joseline from episodes 1 through 5, I was like, she's giving very bully vibes. Because look, Joseline has had some really iconic and funny moments over the years from Love and Hip Hop, but she took a whole other turn. She has this new show, on the Zeus Network that's all about fighting and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, Joseline has just gone to a whole other place. So when they announced that Joseline Hernandez was going to be on this show, I was just like, are we sure? And then to find out that there was a physical altercation, I was just like, well, that tracks. And I know, Amber Rose was the first one to throw a punch. Okay, well, are we gonna bring up the whole Real Housewives of Potomac situation with Monique? Was she bullying Amber Rose this entire time, and Amber Rose had enough? We're gonna talk about it. Oh my goodness, where do we begin? First off, it seems as if the foreshadowing of this situation between Amber Rose and Joseline Hernandez was brewing. There's been issues with the ladies. We saw the fight with Tiffany, but I never take a fight with Tiffany New York ever serious, because come on, she's never really serious, Tiffany Pollard. I can never take her seriously. And honestly, her commentary during the fight, that was distracting, because I was like, this is not a time to laugh. But her voice is just always so comical. All right. So last week's episode ended with Kway having issues with Amber, because Kway was trying to defend Amber because he saw exactly what was happening with Joseline. Joseline's behavior, though, like, she's had issues with everyone. Even to an end, there is an energy that every time, I feel like Iman has been really trying to be a friend to Joseline, but every time he tries to have a conversation with her, she's like ready to go down his throat. And he's like, he's the only one here that has your back. Have you guys noticed that? Every time he tries to have a conversation with her, she's ready to jump down. She's like, what are you trying to say? He's like, no, what I'm saying is I have your back. You think Iman's scared of Joseline? I'm scared of Joseline. Like I said, ever since they announced that she was going to be on the show, and then watching her on the show these first 5 episodes, I was sort of like, especially the way she was bullying Parker. You saw Parker after the fight. Parker was like, because Parker's biracial too, so she was a little offended by some of the things that she was saying, that Joseline was saying. Hold on, did I bring up the photo that I wanted? Hold on, y'all. There's a photo that I wanted make sure that I highlight as well. Hold on, where is it? Did I not bring it? No, it's not here, and I'm mad about that. I'm gonna get it though. Look, I'm gonna get it. I usually have my phone right near me, and I don't have it with me right now. Damn it! Hold on, but maybe I can find it, because Amber Rose did post about this on her socials. I just want to make sure I have this for when we talk about some of the aftermath of everything that played out in this whole situation. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the physical altercation that happened between Amber Rose and Joseline Hernandez on College Hill Celebrity Edition. Okay, the show is available on BET Plus. Hold on one second. Let me see if it's here where I can. Yes, I'll pause this, because hold on. Let me just save this, because Amber Rose had posted this on her social media addressing the whole fight situation. Okay? All right. So Kway had already seen this behavior from Joseline, and it ended up being a fight between Amber Rose and Kway. Sidebar. I said this last week when we were recapping, or this week when we were recapping College Hill. I'm just thinking to myself, Kway, he's so funny on social media. I'm so bored by him on this show. Like, I'm not engaged. Nothing about him right now makes me want to. I'm like, You're so boring. And he's so funny. I think that's the surprise. And I get it. Look, that's your job. But usually if you're a funny person creating this content on social media, usually that translates into your real personality. He's so he's a nice guy, but it's just like, and I don't expect him to throw in the wake or do anything. I mean, normally you just have a funny personality. I'm not getting that from him. Just saying. I'm getting a lot of seriousness from him. Anyways, in this episode, they talk about how the house is haunted. The pictures, Tiffany's like, oh my God, these pictures. But apparently something really was going on in the house. Do you think the whatever ghost possessed Joseline and that's why she's the way she is? Or maybe she brought that bad energy into the house? And these three people, they can't sleep. They're all having the same dream. And then the door opened in their bedroom. Someone was knocking on the door. Someone was knocking on the door. They call Ray J because he's like the Ghostbuster. Sidebar, y'all saw Ray J and Amber Rose in the same bed? How does Princess Love feel about that? Probably okay, because she's dealt with so much. He threw her in a pool. She's still with that man. He threw her in a pool. They've broken up so many times. Even on season 1, he was talking about how they were breaking up. Cassius says totally agree with Kway. Ruth Ann says she brought that bad energy to the house. Like I told you guys before, I was shocked when they announced that she was going to be on this show. I was just like, really? I thought we wanted this to be a positive experience. And I know Amber Rose was the first one to throw the first punch. However, I don't think this would have went this way if they didn't bring Joseline on this cast. I don't know what they were thinking by bringing her on the cast. Just saying. Okay. Y'all are so funny in the chat. All right, let me focus. So this is all happening around Halloween. So that doesn't help. So they got ghosts upstairs. Ray J's going upstairs because he's a Ghostbuster. Now he's in bed with Amber Rose. They didn't do anything that we know of. Okay. So they all get dressed up for Halloween the next day. They're going to school. Did y'all do this in college? Dress up for Halloween? I don't remember. Maybe we didn't have Halloween. We weren't in classes on Halloween. I don't remember people dressing up on campus for Halloween like that, going to class all dressed up. What I love about this show, though, is being in these HBCUs, and very much like some of these celebrities that wish they went to college or they wish they went to an HBCU. I know Kenya said that recently on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I kind of wish I went to an HBCU too. Especially if their classes are like this, where they really are teaching you history that we wouldn't get. I mean, I took an African American, or what's it called? Was it called African American, or maybe it was just called Black History class? That was like the best class I ever took in college. The best class that I ever took in college. But I'm sure going to an HBCU, you're getting more than just that. Which would have been nice. It would have been nice. Is it too late to go back to college? I don't want to go back to college. Nope. I'm done. Look, I'm done. All right. So the group dresses up for Halloween. Who had the best costume? Amber Rose's costume was Eminem. That was lazy. A lot of their costumes were pretty lazy. Who had the best costume? Maybe Joseline. She dressed up as the Joker's girlfriend. Which all of the signs and symptoms were there. All the signs and symptoms were there. The foreshadowing of this beef and this fight were all there. Okay. So okay, Orion says that Tiffany has a crush on him. I thought that Tiffany was engaged to a white man. Didn't she tell us that she was engaged? Or did I forget that? Or did I just make that up? Did I make that up? I thought Tiffany was engaged. She's been flirting this entire season with Orion. Do I blame her? No, he's yummy. He's yummy. See? S. Wright says Harley Quinn. That's who Joseline dressed up as. Harley Quinn was great. I don't know. Sometimes those energies, that's why I don't really love Halloween like that. I feel like there's energy around those costumes. Some people get a little too into it. Just saying. Anyways, so Orion says that Tiffany has been crushing on him. He doesn't seem to mind it. Apparently, he probably loves it, but I don't think he's really interested in Tiffany. But Tiffany's supposedly engaged. So what happened? What has she been flirting with him? Or is she just doing that for television? How is she going to explain this to her man? Okay. Look, okay. All right. So they're in history class and they're discussing segregation. And this is where we're seeing foreshadowing of this fight that's going to happen between Joseline and Amber Rose. So in the history class, they're talking about segregation, the history of segregation, how some of these civil rights leaders were actually paid to what's the word? To sort of like to be behind segregation and be okay with segregation. Are we surprised about that? No, but we never learned that in school. At least I didn't learn that in school. Am I surprised? Nope. Look, nope. Z, thank you so much. You did not have to do that. Z, thank you so much for the super chat. Z says later on crew here. Shout out to the later on crew. At AKA the replay crew. Hi, Kemp. Bye. Thank you, Z. That was very generous of you. Thank you so much. Okay. Miss Rapture said, I attended and graduated from Howard University. Loved it. Had a wonderful experience. And no, it wasn't all black or all black American, but I always felt comfortable. That's what I'm wondering what that experience would be like. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people, the ignorant people, like, why do you guys have your own black schools and blah, blah, blah? Because there was a period of time where black people were not allowed to have education. So these schools were created because of that. And now they've become safe spaces for black people and people of color to go and learn and be amongst a comfortable environment, especially still today. Yes, we can go to any school that we want to, but there's a different energy. There's a different energy. All right. Let me just remind everyone in the chat, because I know this conversation is a challenging conversation for our community. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but please keep in mind, be respectful of everyone's opinion. We don't do that here. You might be new. You might be new in the chat. Please be respectful of people's opinions. Everyone has a right to their opinion as long as you're not being derogatory or attacking people. Okay? Capiche? Good. Thank you. All right. And thank you again, Z, for the super chat. We appreciate you. All right. Back to this. We're going to get to this because the fight happens pretty early on in the episode. And as you know, people have been talking about this altercation between Joseline and Amber Rose on social media since yesterday. Part of the reason why it's like we have to go live and talk about this particular episode because it's a conversation that we have to have as a community. All right. And we continue to have these conversations. So they're in the Black History course, the African-American history course. And that's where Joseline says that she wants black segregation. The way she explained it, I'm not sure what she meant. I'm not sure how she meant. So I don't want to put words in her mouth. But like I just said, part of the reason why we had separate schools and things for black people was because we weren't welcomed in those spaces. Joseline might say she still feels as if she's not welcomed in these spaces. And that's why she wants a black segregation. I don't know. It was hard to decipher what she was meaning in this particular moment. Maybe. So this leads to the conversation about, like Amber, she's biracial, Parker's biracial. Look, at the end of the day, a lot of people are mixed at this point. But they talk about the one drop rule. And for some people, they probably don't even know what that is. They probably never heard of that. And that's why I love a show like this, because there are still people that don't know about that, don't know that even that term. And the professor talks about how it went from, what was it? If you had like 1/8 or one, then it went to 1/16, and then it became the one drop rule. And I feel like that one drop rule still it permeates within our culture today, even within the black culture, where people are like, you got your daddy's black, you're black, period. And we don't even realize that some of that, what we believe as a community, is because of what some white person or some racist person decided to create as a law. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. All right? All right. Then we get to the African American literature course. Sidebar: when we get their grades later, a lot of them weren't doing that great in that course. Is it because they're too busy on their phones? Pay attention to the episodes, y'all. When you go into the episodes, you literally see like Joseline she had her laptop in front of her, but then she was on her phone. I mean, look, if you were in college, then you know there were plenty of people. Wait, did we have phones back in college? No, I did have a cell phone back in college. It wasn't my freshman year. And it was a flip phone. Oh, damn. It was a flip phone. I remember it. Damn, I'm old. Yeah. Rewind with Kenya. I love it. I went to a Southern university, and it was the best experience. We had people from all over the world on the yard. Changed my life for the better. I love it. Okay. Back to this. So they're in the African American Lit course, and they're reading Langston Hughes, one of my favorite poets, from the Harlem Renaissance. And they're reading Langston Hughes. And the first poem that they read is talking about, how just the beauty of this black woman and why he created this. Because so often, black beauty, black women's beauty wasn't celebrated. So that's part of the energy behind this poem. All right. So it goes from them talking about that. I'm seeing some of your comments in chat. Godchild said, I didn't have a phone in college. That was a good thing. Not you showing your age, Godchild. No, I'm playing. Look. When did the first? No, let me not even go. Let me not even go there. Okay. So it goes from them talking about Langston Hughes and them talking about this particular poem, and Joseline saying, she's like, oh, black people are more beautiful than white people. And she wasn't even saying white people. She was saying whitey white. And she's like, well, it's okay if I say that. There ain't nobody white in here. And then she turns around and she looks at Amber Rose. She turns around and she looks at Amber Rose. Thank you. Tita says, you're not old. We didn't have a phone back in the day, 70s. They are such a distraction. And literally in class, that's all you see, everyone on the phone. But we even see some students. So I saw a joke on social media. It's a joke, y'all. Calm down. Some people were saying, I know one of those students have the video footage of that fight. And then when I'm watching the episode again, I literally see this student. She has was her laptop there? I think her laptop was there, but then she had her phone in her hand. And I said to myself, do they have the footage? Not that I want to see it, because I really don't like that in my energy space. But I was thinking to myself. So anyways, so after they read this poem, they're talking about, Black beauty, and Joseline is talking about that. And she says that, she feels like black people look better than whitey whites. I'm just using her terminology. This is not my verbiage, just for educational purposes. Okay. And she turned and she looked at, we're all black here. And then she looked at Amber, and she's like, oh, well, maybe not Amber. But she also says that she views Amber as black. But Amber is like, don't identify me. Wow. When she's used that terminology, especially because we're in Pride Month and we see so many ignorant people that want to make a big deal on how people identify within the LGBTQIA+ community, I was like, you know what? And this is why it's so important when I think about Dr. King and what he said, and injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So I had to take what I thought about in regards to my community and associate it here. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, that's how she identifies. We shouldn't be the ones telling her how to identify. Because if we think about the other conversations that we're having when it comes to, other communities that are minorities, it all translates. It all translates. All right. So this conversation between Joseline and Amber gets really heated. But before it even gets fully heated, Amber already walks out of the classroom based off of the things that Joseline was saying during this time. That poor teacher. Look, I was a little critical of the teacher. I was like, teacher, maybe because I know what's happening, but I know who Joseline is. And Amber's from South Philly. Shout out to South Philly. Just saying. So I'm already thinking to myself, lady, you gotta kibosh this. You gotta something. Mayday. Look. So Amber walks out of the room. She eventually comes back. They're talking about the next poem. This leads to more conversation about, I forgot what the terminology they were using, but I love the fact that Ray J was talking about being a Black person in the tech world, because I never thought about that with Ray. This was the one real moment that we had with Ray where he's talking about being a Black person just the way that he is in the tech world. I thought that was interesting. Amber talked about how she doesn't feel like she fits in white spaces or Black spaces. And I'm glad this conversation came up. You know why? Because I felt like, look, I thought after Mariah Carey talked about her struggles of being a biracial person that we had learned something. But apparently not. Apparently not. Anybody ask Mariah what she thinks about? No, she don't watch this. Look, she don't watch this. So Amber says that she doesn't feel like she fits in white spaces or Black spaces. Again, this is where Joseline decides to invoke her opinion on Amber Rose, because she's like, I feel like you're a Black person. Well, in her confessional, let me play what she says. Hold on. You know, I did a little homework today. A little homework. Let me just bring this back up. Shout out to our friends over at the Bravo Shade Room. So let me just play a little bit of a clip from this episode. All right? Pay attention.
If you feel like I singled you out, I apologize. I didn't mean to do that.
I appreciate that.
I consider you a Black person like myself. A lot of people do that to me. They're like, okay, she's Spanish, she's not Black.
Joseline, stop identifying me. Let me identify myself and then let you know what that is. When you say, like, the whiteys, and then you turn around and look at me.
It's a joke. It was just there. I just seen you. I just turned around and look at that. Stop being so sensitive, because you and I are very cool. So for you to do that.
Yeah, but it's not about being sensitive,
but you are being
Joseline.
sensitive.
No, but if you're not a mixed race.
You're not white, though. You're Black.
My father is white, though.
Okay, but to me, your mother's
But that's not
Black.
about you. It's about me.
It is about me when I feel like saying what the fuck I want to say. You can't check me on that. And if you go and check me, then check me.
Okay. I checked you. I'm checking you now.
But you're not, because I don't give a fuck about how you feel.
Well, I don't give a fuck either then, because I can say the same thing about you.
I consider you a white person. So that's the thing.
But it's not about what you consider. That's the whole point.
You mix like me. You mix like, you know what's your problem? Your problem is that you really want to be a white girl. Let's just get down to the point.
Joseline.
No, Professor. Let's get down to the point.
Joseline.
Your problem is that you really don't even want to be Black. She's conflicted with her Blackness. See, when I was growing up, I chose to be Black. I was born in Puerto Rico, a Spanish-speaking place, so I'm a Black Hispanic. But Amber, she don't know how to behave in Black places or in white places. She feel like she got to cater to each of them. But I damn sure know that she doesn't cater to nothing Black. She went there, so let me finish.
Wait.
Nah, you want to go there? Let me finish. There she go. Cry, baby, cry, baby, cry, baby.
Come on, baby. Go.
Okay.
Come on now. No, hold her. Oh, my God.
smashed? No, y'all. I didn't know if her head got smashed.
I can't with Tiffany. I can't with Tiffany. I'm sorry. BET in production posted while this was all happening during the scene. They let us know that they're not going to show the fight out of respect for the individuals involved. They also wanted to make it very clear that the production show and BET and the school do not condone violence. Apparently, a lot of people on social media wanted to see the fight. Here's the thing, though. From the trailer, they showed a little bit of the fight. So what happened? Why would you even show a little bit of the fight? Because you wanted to get people to watch? Come on. Come on. So Joseline said what she said. You heard what she said. All right. You heard everything that she said. All right. Well, then people were saying, well, Joseline, she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong in regards to what she was saying to Amber. Then a lot of people were citing something that Amber said in an interview on Hot 97 8 years ago. So I saw a little bit of a clip where Amber just says, she doesn't identify as a Black woman. I said, let me go watch the interview because people will take a little bit of a snippet and run with that. So I said, let me go watch the interview. And I wanted to play a little bit of the interview for you guys as well so that you can hear fully what she says in this moment. Okay? All right. Let me play this for you guys. Hold on.
Do you feel like people consider you I mean, if you really look at Amber Rose as an individual, you are clearly like a mixed race person, right?
Right.
However, I think culturally in America, you're considered Black. Do you think that's how people perceive you, and is that how you perceive yourself?
I do not consider myself a Black woman. Absolutely not.
What do you consider yourself?
Biracial.
As much one thing as the other.
Yeah, I mean, my dad is half Irish, half Italian. I do the Italian festivals. I grew up eating very Italian food. I celebrate St. Patty's Day.
You like weird 80s rock sometimes?
Right. I'm really into 80s rock. I love Guns N' Roses. So, and then also like my Cape Verdean side, which I don't know that much about it. But, I try to get up on that culture also. But I embrace everything that I am. I don't feel like I'm more one thing than the other.
You just feel like you'd be doing a disservice to one side to only...
Nah, it's just personally how I feel. It's not for anybody else.
See, but Ebro, you're mixed. You're biracial.
Yep.
But I guess it's kind of different. I mean, you had a Black father and a white mother.
That's correct.
And yet you identify probably as Black.
Yeah, because I chose that identification based on how people responded to me. Right? So based on how I was treated, my experience, right? The Black thing is very much an experience.
Right.
Amber's experience, she's saying she experienced a lot of cultures. I went to Hebrew school, right? And I do consider myself Jewish, but I'm Black. And I believe that you can be Black and still be all of those other things, because that technically is what Black in America is, because when you have African descent and your people were slaves and that's how you came up, yes, we were all mixed with
Pretty much
Cherokee,
everyone
with
is
French,
mixed.
with whatever.
Right.
But, I think race in America is different than culture, is different than ethnicity, is different than nationality, and some people bundle those things, right? I check the Black box, but that's also because I was raised by a Black father who was very pro-Black and was like, yo,
See, I check
Black,
other.
B.
You check other. Now,
other.
do you feel that you have had the experience of a Black American woman, or do you think that some of the bullshit that Black women have to deal with in America every day, you've gotten a bit of a pass on?
I feel like when I'm around white people, I don't feel as white. Like I don't.
Got it.
And that's another reason why I consider myself Black, is because white people was quick to remind me,
Right.
yo, nigga, what's up?
Exactly.
You're a nigga.
Like,
Yo,
I got a big ass and lips. Like my body is different.
You're Black, that's why.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
Black.
it was just.
You're taking it.
I was different than the
Amber.
white girls.
All right. So I had to go back. And I had to listen to the full clip because, on social media, they'll take a little bit of a clip where Amber talks about, oh, I don't identify as a Black woman. And I was like, let me go see the full interview. And I kept playing it because I liked what Ebro said in regards to his own, because he's also biracial, and why he decided to identify just as Black. So this has led a bigger conversation on social media. People are defending Joseline Hernandez. People are defending Amber Rose. You know how we feel over here. Everyone's opinion is welcomed here as long as you share it in a professional and open-minded way. Okay, don't let's not attack each other. It's not necessary. But what I love that happens in this scene, once this fight happens, everyone's just like, oh my God, what just happened? What I love that the professor says, the professor first apologizes to the class. Okay, the professor apologizes to the class because she's like, I'm so sorry, I did not get this under control. So she also reminds us, which I thought was so important because we've said this before, especially when we were talking about the issue of colorism on The Real Housewives of Potomac. We've said it countless times. The teacher in this moment says that race is a made up thing that has been used to control and manipulate people. So when we were talking about colorism, that was another thing. I was like, we can't forget that this whole colorism issue was brought on to separate us. And we have continued to allow these types of issues within our communities to separate us. But like I said before, every time a conversation like this happens, we have to have the conversation because I think even if one or two people say, you know what, I never thought about it that way, then it's worth it. We're not going to change everyone's mind. It's not our goal to change everyone's mind. My goal is that we at least allow people to identify themselves whatever way they want to identify themselves. So when people talk about like, oh, what's this whole, I identify as they or identify as she, he, that, how does the way that someone identifies themselves change your life or life experience? Because like I said before, for me, that is just an offshoot of the reason why we have Pride Month. To me, that's just an offshoot of me being a Black gay man in America. A lot of people weren't accepting of that back 10 years ago. When I was in college, it still was a thing. You can be walking around holding some man's hand, kissing in public. People, look, shout out to our Black transgender women that still are being murdered. So I think it's so important. This is why this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quote is my favorite because it translates to every aspect of our lives when we're talking about these issues. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. When we have these conversations, we need to step back and be like, okay, how would this apply to me? And that's been a bigger issue when it comes, especially when we talk about the LGBTQIA plus community and the Black community, because we as a Black community have a long way to go when it comes to accepting our fellow LGBTQIA plus community. Look at me with I'm getting it out there. I'm remembering all my LGBTs. There we go. So this is part of the reason why I wanted to do this live. Because I have to say, the season overall of College Hill Celebrity Edition, it's not been my favorite season. Season 1 was so good. We even got a little season 1 moment. We got a little season 1 moment with Nene. Nene was on FaceTime with Ray J. So that was still my favorite season. This season, maybe because of the bad energy that's on this cast, I don't really love this cast. Like I told you before, I feel as if, the bad energy was there. I didn't love some of the personalities. Like, But this is such an important conversation. I said, no, we have to do a separate live because it's not even about the episode for me. We can continue talking about the episode, but for me, it's like they got their grades. They separated Amber and Joseline. Amber, who threw the first punch. We know she threw the first punch, but some people are saying, well, Joseline has been harassing and bullying this entire cast since she's been there. Parker Posey, she locked out of the room. She got into a fight with Tiffany, New York, Pollard. And she's been having a thing with Amber. And Amber she might have been triggered. She might have been triggered. Because she was literally saying this throughout the episode, or throughout the season, that these are things that she's had to deal with growing up in Philly. But also, Joseline has been doing interviews. I think she was on Drink Champs, and she talked about how she had a dog walk this chick. Look, So Amber Rose did go on social media and talk about this a little bit. Let me just see if I can pull this up. This is not the original photo that I took, but it's okay. It's all right. We're gonna roll with the punches. Guys, if you haven't already, we have over 1,500 of you, and I appreciate you all being here because this is such an important conversation. I appreciate you all taking time out of your Friday to be here. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. And because it is Pride Month, we are raising money for the Trevor Project, an amazing organization that has been helping the LGBTQIA plus youth for decades. Before it was cool, before they were doing all the rainbow stuff from some of your favorite corporations. The Trevor Project has been around helping our community for a very long time. We are trying to raise $2,500 this month. Let's get over $2,500. If you check out our last video, if you're part of the replay crew, you will see this donation area somewhere here, okay? And because it is Pride Month, we have our Pride merch. So head on over to houseofthekempire.com so you can check out our Pride merch while supplies last. I got an email today that already some of the things are sold out. So be sure to check that out. They will not be available after Pride Month. All right? All right. So as you can see here, Amber Rose posted on social media. I guess this is supposed to be sort of like her life experience in dialogue. So she posts this. She says, biracial person, I'm black. People, the general population, I'm sure she's saying, you don't know the black experience, shut up. Okay? Biracial person says, I'm white. People, you're black, shut up. I think people is the black people she's talking about right now. All right? Biracial person, I'm mixed. People, pick a side. So this is something that Amber Rose posted on her social media, basically talking about her experience growing up as a biracial person. And I've heard this from biracial people for years. Like I said, I thought we learned something or two when Mariah Carey opened up about it. But apparently not. Apparently not. All right. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Jen, thank you so much for the super chat. Jen says, Amber don't have any black in her. Neither does Joseline. Okay. I mean, they say that they do. April, thank you so much for the super chat. April says, I see a lot of humans need therapy and true history taught. We're all black. Yeah. Okay. Guys, members, I'm going to drop the call-in link first for members. So if you're a member of the channel, I'll be posting that on the call-in, on the community tab. So let me go there first. Let me go there first because I do want to hear what you guys have to say. And again, if you are derogatory, you will be banned indefinitely from the channel. So tread lightly. Okay? We welcome your opinions. However, if you're derogatory, you will be dropped. All right? All right, let me just drop this call link for Senior Royals first. So what happens after the episode, after the altercation, okay, we have them separated and they're going to stay at separate hotels until production, BET, the school decides what they're going to do with Amber and Joseline after this fight. So it's very clear as Amber is leaving the room, leaving the classroom, you hear, like I said before, I played it for you. You hear Joseline sort of like taunting her as she walks out. That's when Amber reaches out first. Amber tries to tell a different story when she comes into the house to collect her things, but she's standing on what she says. She feels as if Joseline has been harassing and bullying her this entire time. Joseline comes. Joseline's like, I don't want no cameras. What did Joseline say? I wrote it down. Joseline, what did she say? I wrote down she doesn't feel sorry for the fight. She said that, hold on. No, Joseline says that Amber fights like a white girl. Really? Really? So none of them feel bad about it. Parker Posey is happy for what Amber did because Parker Posey. She's not Parker Posey, but you know him. All right. If you are a Royal Court member, I'm going to drop the call-in link next for you as well. All right. Team Kempire members, I'm going to drop the call-in link for you in just a second. Live chat, because we have, how many people in the building? We have 1,500 people in the building. let's get to 700 likes. Let's get to 700 likes, and I will drop the call link for the general audience. Liking the video is an easy and free way of supporting the channel. If you're new to the channel, we don't just talk about reality TV. We don't just talk about The Housewives. We don't just talk about Bravo. We don't just talk about BET Plus. We talk about everything in pop culture. For me, doing this live today was more not about the episode. It was really more about the conversation that was being had on social media about what Joseline said and did, and what Amber Rose said and did. Okay? So they are separated, and the house is just like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, they don't want either one to go home. I don't know about that. What was your school's policy for a physical altercation? The poor professor was just like traumatized. She's like, I have never seen anything like that. And God only knows what they saw. People on social media are upset with BET Plus for not showing the fight. And I'm like, y'all know this is not Zeus, right? Just saying. All right. So they're separated. Now the house is still good, getting on with stuff. Orion is cooking in the kitchen. Tiffany's trying to flirt with him, but he's not giving her anything back. Tiffany, I thought you have a whole engagement ring on your finger. Girl. All right. The group receives their grades. Parker has the highest GPA of all of them. Kway has the lowest. I don't know what's going on with Kway. Ray J's doing a little bit better. All right. Tiffany's doing okay. All right. Amon had a 3.72. Orion had the second best score, 3.75. Parker had a 3.76. Kway had a 2.78. He's got to get it together. A lot of them. Well, here's the thing. Ray and Amon missed classes. So if that affects their grades, it really, damn, Kway, how bad you had to be? You've been in class every day. Darbin says it's the fact that they played in our faces. And this is true because, like I said to you before, we would have never known about a physical altercation if it wasn't in the trailer. We literally see them make contact in the trailer. There's an actual... I'm not going to show it to you guys because they chose not to show it. But it's in the trailer. I think that's why people were a little like, I thought y'all were going to show us a little bit more than what you showed us. I mean, the sounds alone were a little like, oh my God. But like I said before, I'm not surprised. And I know Amber was the first one to make contact. However, if you've been watching these episodes of College Hill Celebrity Edition Season 2, you've seen that Joseline has been bullying the entire house, including Amon, who's been a friend to her. So I wasn't completely surprised. You bring that energy onto a show. I don't know who thought, let's bring Joseline Hernandez on the show after she's been beating up people on Zeus. Tracy Edmonds. Really, girl? Look, really? All right. All right, we have quite a few people backstage because I know you guys have strong opinions on this. Again, no profanity, no derogatory comments. Just share your thoughts. Members, you will have 2 minutes to share your thoughts. General audience, you will have a minute. If we get to 700 likes, if we don't get to 700 likes, some of you are just watching in the bushes and just watching, like the video. What are you doing here? I won't know that you liked it. But if you want to call in and share your thoughts, you better like the video. If not, I'm going to go enjoy my dinner. It's Friday. Just saying. Osen says that BET's corny for teasing it, then trying to act holier than thou. Just saying. Exactly. Beyonce says, Zeus had lawsuits from her beating them girls. Yeah. Whatever happened with those lawsuits? I haven't heard anything since then. You know what? Some of y'all are a mess in the chat. I'm not going to even highlight that comment. Let me get to this audience. Let me switch this out. Hold on, y'all. Let me put my disclaimer up. Because we already had a few little videos where people were talking all kinds of mess. All right. Let me bring up Miss Brooklyn Diamond first. If you're a Team Kempire member, I've dropped the call-in link for you as well on the community tab here on YouTube. Guys, do not forget to vote in the poll that we posted in regards to this episode. Who do you felt had the most wrong in the situation? Based off our over 1,034 votes on YouTube, you guys say 43% feel as if Joseline was the more in the wrong here. All right. Hold on. Just me, B. This is my channel. I decide. Look, we don't have to take callers. I'm just saying, like the video if you want. But if you've been here for over almost an hour, then obviously you like what you're watching or you hate watching. Either one, like the video. If you don't, it's okay too. All right, let me get to our members. Again, guys, if you would like to become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. All right? All right, Miss Brooklyn Diamond is backstage. We're going to bring her up first. What's going on, Miss Brooklyn Diamond?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing
It's
much.
sad that we still have to have this conversation in 2023, but I think we'll be having this conversation in 3033. It's an ongoing one. And hard to put it in 2 minutes. Let me try and put it. I myself am biracial. Genetically, I am more Sicilian, which is a whole other conversation, than I am Black genetically. But I look Black. I was raised by my Black mother in a Black family, in a Black context. I know more of my Black roots than my Sicilian roots, and I identify myself as Black, and my children were raised as Black and all of that. That's my choice. That is what I'm comfortable doing. That's what I'm comfortable feeling. And that's how I choose to identify myself. Everybody needs to let people identify themselves however they want. But my caveat becomes this: don't become Black when it's convenient. Don't become Black when it's profitable. If you want to say you're biracial, I'm all for it. Be biracial. I am as well. I choose a different road. You choose the road you want to walk down. The idea that I can't be Black and Sicilian. I enjoy Italian food. I enjoy, all types of foods. As a matter of fact, I enjoy my Italian Sicilian culture. I enjoy all of that. I have a Sicilian flag pin that I wear. That doesn't make me any less Black. It's just another part of my Blackness that I incorporate. And the idea where I saw some people saying that Joseline is not Black. I used to date a Dominican guy that was darker than me, and he used to say, I'm not Black. And I used to tell him, sweetie, you just got off the cruise ship one stop sooner than my people did. We all got on that same cruise ship and we got left off at different places. And I will try and keep it short and leave it there.
Question though, before I let you go, Ms. Brooklyn Diamond, because I didn't know this about you, and I'm glad you're sharing, and I always love it when you guys share your personal stories. Did you feel pressure growing up to choose a side?
I grew up in the Brooklyn Project, sweetie. So, I mean, I grew up more around Black people. So they're really, and like I said, when you see me walking down the street, you don't see the Sicilian in me. And in fact, when I'm in the summertime, more people took me for being Dominican when I tan, because my entire colorism, my color changes, the undercolor comes out, the texture of my hair is somewhat different. So it just never bothered me. And if you see, my grandmother had brown eyes with blue rings around them. So, that's a whole other conversation. My Black grandmother. So that's a whole other conversation on the mixture in there. What I did find sad, and I had to have a conversation, I'm sorry, people, for going over time. I have 2 daughters, and my younger daughter, one daughter is darker than me, a little bit darker, and one's about my complexion. She specifically, and she said this to me, she specifically chose an African man. Her partner, the father of her children, is from Ghana. He's straight from Ghana. She stated that she specifically chose an African man because she wanted to have darker babies. Mind you, her kids are bicolor. So it didn't work out that way. But I did have to have the conversation with both my daughter's partners that if them kids come out light and looking a little different, it's because of the mixture that I have.
Yeah.
But I felt it very sad that my daughter felt that she had to, in order to be Black or justify Blackness or justify her Blackness, to have, a darker baby. Whether the kids came out dark or light, I love them, we love them anyway, but it's a connotation that still goes back to, we're watching a show about HBCUs, and I mentioned about sororities and the paper bag test. And if you were darker than the paper bag, you weren't allowed in this particular sorority, which goes back to slavery with the house slave and the field slave and being separated by color. And we continue to keep this mentality in ourselves and saying, I grew up with a lot of things that Amber said, where, oh, you're biracial, you don't really know what it's like to be black. Listen, when those white people see me walking down the street, they don't see any Sicilian in me. They see a black girl walking down the street. That's what they say. That's what they see. And the other thing that we do to ourselves that just ticks me off, and I think of the Fresh Prince with this, is Carlton and I forget what the sister's name was, because they were well spoken. They were well spoken and well educated. I forget Hillary.
Hillary, I was like, well, this is gonna kill me. Go ahead, yeah.
If you're well spoken and well educated and act a certain way, then you're not really black. You're trying to act white. No, there's no acting black. There's no specific book and playbook to be black. I like Guns N' Roses. I like Billy Joel. I like the Beatles. I like Prince. I like Run DMC. I like Heavy D and the Boy. It's music. I like music. And just to leave it, my favorite artist, bless him, his birthday just passed, Prince. Rest in power, my man. When he first came out, it was, am I black or white? Am I straight or gay? And he was like, it's none of your business. But then he came out with a song that was called Race. And I carry this with me all the time. And he says, race in the space I mark human. Cut me, cut you, both our blood is red. And I live by that, because at the end of the day, I am a human being before I am anything else. That is what I am.
Ms. Brooklyn
Sorry,
Diamond.
it's going over, guys.
It's okay. I asked you the question. Thank you for calling in. All right. Let me just say thank you. Chocolate Soul, thank you so much for the super chat. Chocolate Soul says, I think the decision to not air the fight had more to do with ASU, the HBCU college, and than BET, since the fight occurred on campus. Well, then the HBCU should pull them together, because they shouldn't have showed it in the trailer either. But yeah. I definitely think that it had more to do with the university, and if they were going to be able to film at another HBCU based off of this whole situation. Because they really should be like, why would you? Never mind. I already said this. Pete, thank you so much for the super chat. Pete says, call yourself whatever, but in the world, if you're black, you're black, you're black. And some of us can't switch when it's convenient. That makes it harder for some. And I think that's been one of the criticisms of Amber Rose, is that people have said, I can't say that for a fact because I don't recall, but people have said that she utilizes it when it's convenient for her. Okay. Nia's backstage. We're going to bring Nia up next. Shout out to our members, and thank you to our members for supporting the channel. Bring Nia up. There we go. What's going on, Nia?
Hey, so yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about this is because my family, traditionally, my grandfather, his family are from India. And so my mother would be considered mixed race, but my mom always considered herself black. Now, growing up, I understand that race is a social construct, and that's something that was not created by us. But unfortunately, we have to play by the rule book that we were giving. And also, anti-blackness is global. It doesn't just end in America. It goes all across the world, where if you have a darker tone, if you have any type of African features, people will perceive you and look at you wrong. I think what Joseline was saying basically came out wrong, because I understand where she was going. What she was basically trying to go at is like, she's Afro-Latina, right? And for many people, like the previous caller said, she was with a Dominican and he was like, I'm not black. But in this world, in this society, this is what they're going to label you as. You know what I'm saying? So we will want to always identify ourselves as something. But in the world, they will always knock you down, and they will always say, no, like, you're this. And unfortunately, that's the thing. My thing is with Amber Rose is she does benefit from her features and from her fair tone and from her shape. Amber Rose has been many male crushes. People have fiend over her, have trying to gone after, especially after her dating Kanye West. And I find it very funny that she said this when also she criticized Kim Kardashian and the family many years for them having tried to get features like her. And she was talking about how they were trying to, blackfish and everything like that. And then here she is saying this, and it's like, well, that's like the kettle, even though you do have black in you, and you're saying that, you fight with both, which is understandable, you can then not like try to pick on somebody else. It's not cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my kind of caveat on that, because like Miss Brooklyn was saying, like, she is biracial, so is my mom. Sometimes some people saw my mom and thought she was white, and she does not like that at all, because she considers herself a black woman, and she will always tell us that like we're black. It doesn't matter if our father has Indian or white, we're black, because that's how we're going to be seen in society. And she made sure to tell us that from a long time ago. And we can't switch one day and say, oh, we're going to be Indian today and then black tomorrow. No, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And also, the one last thing I do want to say is this. With race, it could be also complex, but sometimes race does come in, and it could be, we shouldn't really diminish race all together. It's because there are certain rights that we have that come with us being black and stuff like that. And if they take it away from us, that can give them a right to treat us a way we don't want to be treated.
Okay. Thank you, Nia, for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me just save this. Shout out to our members that are backstage. We're going to bring them up in just a second. LaMarcus, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you supporting the channel as well. Hold on, let me just save this. Okay. All right, Shan, thank you so much for the super chat. Shan says, this is a really good conversation. Love this community. Thank you, Shan. Yeah, and then this is why I said, I think this is worth us going live and having a conversation, a separate conversation about it. Yeah, we could talk about the episode. The episode, it was all right. But the conversations that, I have to say, the one thing that I do love about College Hill Celebrity Edition is not really about the celebrities. That's like an added little cherry on top. It's really about the conversations and the classes that you're taking, because I feel like we're also learning something from some of these classes that maybe we didn't learn before. CE, thank you so much for the super chat. CE says, we use the word bully loosely, but okay. We should also learn to use our words and not our hands, because in this case, Joseline will give Amber the business. FYI, Amber loves to pick and choose when it benefits her. Okay. Majestic, thank you so much for the super chat. Majestic says, nationality is not a race. There are black people everywhere. There are 4 or 5 races identified on the census. Okay. Pete, thank you so much for the super chat. Announcing your mix unsolicited, your mix unsolicited can be a trigger too. Okay. All right. Let's get to some more callers. Hold on. Miss Beverly.
Hey, Kempire, how are you today?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And I just say, obviously, you can see I can't speak on being biracial, not at all. However, I am trying to figure out, how does Amber identify as biracial, because she said that her father, she keeps saying, my father is white. My father is white. And I'm wondering, does that does her saying that in her mind, because in in identifying people as black, it's always said, if your father is black, you're black. So if she keeps hollering, my father is white, does that means that, okay, well, my father is white, so I must be white? And also, I've seen her mom. I saw a program with her and her mother, and her mom is well, maybe her mom is biracial, but you can't see blackness in her mom at all. So if she's saying her father is white and her mom looks like she's white, where does the blackness in her come from? That's what I'm trying to figure out with Amber Rose. Because she's never really explained how, where the black half of her comes from, unless she's not, considering. I just don't know. She's confusing to me. And yeah, I as far as the poll, I think they both had a part in it, because once Jocelyn identified that she was triggering Amber Rose, she turned it up a notch. And Jocelyn is one that she can talk over anybody,
Mm.
but at some point, if you keep uh, picking and picking and picking, something is going to happen. However, Amber should not have hit her. She should have used her words. And Amber had said, I think like the night before or something, when she was sitting out with the two guys, that she does not like anybody to identify her, let her identify herself.
No.
And that goes back to her family. I think she said something about she always had to deal with that within her family.
Mm.
So then there's that.
All right, Miss Beverly, thank you so much for calling in.
All right, have a good one.
You too. All right. Guys, keep liking the video. I see we hit over 700 likes and we appreciate that. Keep liking the video. I will drop the call link for the general audience in a second. We're just taking calls from our members first. If you would like to become a member of the channel, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. Or if you're watching from your computer, just click the join button under the video. All right, we're going to bring up Danielle next. Danielle, what's going on?
Oh my goodness. Hey there. This is not a lot. Okay. So Brooklyn Diamond said a lot of what I was going to say. Miss Beverly hit on a good point. I've seen video interviews of Amber's mom. I always thought Amber's mom was the Caucasian one and that her dad was black. Who knew until this episode that her dad was black? But I want to say this. We can't continue to tell people that you can't turn it off and on, or people use it to their advantage, because we do it in a workspace. Just think about when blacks go to work, you turn on your work voice, is what we call it. We don't say your white voice, we say your work voice, because we know we don't want to call it our white voice, but we turn it off and on to make it work to our advantage, whatever that is. And that's deeper than just turning it off and on. It's because that's what we've had to do to survive. That's what black people have had to do to survive in this U.S. world that they've created of ours. And I want to say this because really Brooklyn starts with everything I wanted to say. Oh, Brooklyn Diamond, sorry. On TikTok, there is a biracial hashtag, but it's a few people on there who are biracial, and I didn't realize this until I talked to a couple of my girlfriends. Biracial kids who are raised by black women basically identify black. We're going to leave Megan out of this because that's just me taking a jab. But biracial kids who are raised by white women were raised completely differently because of how these mothers were raised. So you have some biracial kids because of their black moms who were raised or identify more black than anything else. Then you have those, and we can joke about the slang. Don't keep opening my door because you're gonna raise my electric bill. Like, we all know the jokes of coming from a black household. Those biracial kids who identify with that, we have to give it to them because that's how they were raised. We can't take that from them. We can't identify for them. But I think these conversations, sometimes we just have to take a step back and listen to what people are saying and learn from it. Stop trying to take it away from people and stop trying to sit up and say, no, that's not true. When you don't know, you weren't raised like that and you don't know what their experiences are. And I think Joseline and Amber were both yelling and screaming, fussing and cussing from their experiences of being hurt for whatever that looks like in their world. And that's the part we're not considering. Okay. My time is up. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Danielle. All right. We're going to continue to get some more callers. We have Wendy backstage. We're going to bring her up next. What's going on, Wendy?
Hi, happy Friday.
You
happy
too.
Friday. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the race thing. I'm not going to talk about the race. Everybody else is talking about it. I'm not biracial. I am black, so I'm not going to even talk about that. But I want to say is that I didn't watch it, but listening to what was going on, it is a shame because Joseline and Amber both have little kids. So what kind of examples are they setting for their kids? Because now more things are caught than taught. In the day that I was raised, is do what I say, not what I do. But now kids today, they're looking at you and what your behavior are, what you're doing, and they're thinking it's okay because you do it. And that's all I wanted to say. I just think that was very distasteful, for them both being mothers. I mean, come on, you have to let the childish things go once you become a mom, because now you have a different crown on. You have to think about what kind of example that you're setting. And that's it. Love you. Have a great weekend.
You
Kempire.
too, Wendy. Take care. All right, we're going to bring up Tina next. What's going on, Tina?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I just really wish people would Google smoogle the African diaspora because that is a global phenomenon that is still occurring today. But everybody got a little bit of African in them. Look how close the continent is to other places. I mean, it's global. So, and I really hate that people want to shy away or treat blackness as it's a disease or something. That's why I hate that Black history is trying to get the erasure of Black history in schools.
Yeah.
Is really sinful because I'm older. We did know about some things, but we didn't know about a lot. And the eraser of that just creates all this colorism and I hate saying white supremacy, but white supremacy and all this other isms here. Amber Rose's mother, I do believe I heard she's Cape Verdean,
Yeah.
and they're descendants from slaves and Arabs that was a mixture in Portuguese. So she's got a little African in her, but who doesn't? If you do your ancestry or that the other things
23andMe.
that you can right, I'm Scottish and I'm as dark as you can get, but I have Scottish, I have all type of European mixed up in us. All of us are mixed up. But the disparaging thing when they say, "Oh, I'm not black," and Amber has black sons, what is she teaching her sons?
Mm.
So it's just, I don't know. I didn't watch it. It's sad that it happened, but people really need to get into these books and fight the fact that they don't want to teach race in school.
Florida.
They, child, little man, little hands. All right. And by the way, my great niece is, her dad is 100% Russian. Her father is white, and my sister's black. So, child, is no telling what she's going to be, but they named her Melania.
You know, come on.
But Melania stands for Black Queen. Bye.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it does.
Does Trump's wife know that? No, goodbye.
I don't think she does.
Goodbye. That's the funniest thing I've heard. That is the funniest thing I've heard today. I didn't know it. Melania, did you know? Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Patricia's our last member that we're going to bring up. Hold on. Patricia, what's going on? How happened to Patricia? Patricia dropped out. So when Patricia calls back in, she'll get her 2 minutes. However, general audience, you are reminded, no profanity, no derogatory comments, no attacking people's opinions, okay? Just a reminder, you will have 1 minute to share your thoughts. Please respect that minute so that we're able to get to everyone, all right? Oh, wait, Patricia's backstage. Let me bring Patricia up first because she's a member. Hold on.
How are you?
What's going on, Patricia?
How are you? How are you today?
I'm well.
Yeah, I think it's just terrible that grown women are fighting. It displays such a negative context of just it's just not the way to behave. And then, I'm a biracial woman myself, and I've had a few scruffs here and there, but no, not as a grown woman. And if it had to come to that, I'm gonna walk away because I'm not gonna have somebody sue me. And I think it's terrible that the networks even engage in this because they see it coming. Turn it down. Turn it down. Stop exploiting people because it's just a bad look. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thanks, Patricia, for calling in.
Have a good night, honey. Bye.
You too. Okay. All right. And she did that in 40 seconds. Just want to say. She did that in 40 seconds. Hold on. Let me just say thank you. Hold on. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We appreciate you. Oh, wait. I saved this. Satra says that Amber Rose's mother does not identify as black. The mom is from an African island controlled by Portugal. Well, I don't know. I don't know what her mom identifies as. I haven't seen an interview with the mom. Unless you could provide me some links, then, okay. Abu, thank you so much for the super chat. Abu says, we as a community have this bad habit of trying to gatekeep how people identify. Let's not act as if there aren't people who are not mixed who do look like Amber. Black features aren't monolithic like y'all think. Thank you, Abu. All right, RC, thank you so much for the super chat. RC says, Amber Rose's mom is clearly a light-skinned black woman. She does not look white at all. Her picture is out there. This is a great convo, by the way. Thank you, RC. And I thought it was a necessary convo. And yeah, do we want to talk about the episode? Yeah, we can. It wasn't, the episode was what it was. There were some good moments that I wish was highlighted more. And I think a lot of people are criticizing BET Plus and production of the show for even including this fight. We would have even known about this fight, this physical altercation, if it wasn't included in the trailer. CE, thank you so much for the super chat. CE says that's why Florida and Texas needs to cede from the union. Oh Lord, because yeah, we know there's a lot of things happening legislatively in Florida and Texas. All right, and that man from Florida wants to be our president. Okay, all right. Let's get into some more callers, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Everyone will have a minute to share their thoughts, so use it wisely. All right, we're gonna bring Jada up first. What's going on, Jada?
Hi, Cam. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so I want to talk about this, but from a different aspect. Race is a social construct, like everyone has been saying, but not particularly in the way where it's just like a society thing. It's something that actually stems from, obviously, white supremacy and colonialism or colonization. So it came as an oppressive tool, which was used to justify our enslavement. I'm Black, by the way, I'm not biracial. So it was just used to basically demonize and villainize us. So now when you see people who are mixed, who are biracial, who are mixed with Black, trying to distance themselves from that and that identity crisis, I think it's important to look at it and understand that it's not necessarily a reflection of that person, but an overarching system that has beat that into us over time, that we want to distance ourselves from our Blackness because we don't equate Blackness with success. Even if that's not the direct correlation we're making in our mind, that's what the overarching systems have always taught us. That being said, there are a number of biracial people or people who could be identified as Black, but they look racially ambiguous, who will dip into that Black culture when it benefits them. So I think that's a lot of the issue that people have been expressing with Amber, because a lot of the money she makes has been from the Black community or supporters of the Black community. So I'll end it there.
Thank you, Jada, for calling in. All right. We're going to bring up Jasmine next. Hold on. What's going on, Jasmine?
Hi, Cam. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course.
And I really want to piggyback on the previous caller. I'm from Philly, born and raised. And so we've seen Amber ascend to where she is now on the backs of Black men, Black entertainment, from the Black gaze. And so I feel like at this point, she's gotten to that point until it's not benefiting her anymore. And now she may want to, bring up the white card to see how far that can take her, because she hasn't really gone anywhere past that. After the Kanye thing, she's kind of disappeared. And I also find it almost insidious and diabolical for her to do that on a Black network, at a Black college, to a Black audience, to then bring up the race and kind of put her whiteness to the forefront, and then have it almost, I'm trying to think of the word, not antagonizing, but it's kind of like disruptive in a way, because you have Black people who are just existing, and then you bring up this race factor, and now we have to be the ones fighting for our lives and arguing back and forth. You know who's not arguing? White people. White people are calling you Black and calling it a day, but you want to go back and forth with Black people because we take the bait every time. And I just want us not to do that.
Okay. Jasmine, thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks.
All right. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of College Hill Celebrity Edition and the fight between Joseline Hernandez and Amber Rose. But of course, this conversation is a lot larger than that. But Replay Crew, we want to hear your thoughts as well. Don't forget to let us know where you're watching from and your personal experience and thoughts on how this episode played out, BET Plus's responsibility in regards to how this has played out. Please let us know your thoughts. All right, we're going to bring up Miss Bernice. What's going on, Miss Bernice?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
This was a teachable moment that Joseline just ruined it for everybody. And Amber, even though she was talking to Joseline had made up her mind, like, I'm not listening to what you're saying. I don't care what you're saying. I'm just going to get my point across, and that's all that matters. But you're in a higher learning environment at a HBCU where you can get knowledge to help you relate your blackness, as you say, and make you feel better about your blackness. Because if I'm feeling good about my blackness, me having being proud to be black and to be a female is not going to make anybody else feel less than. And that's what Jocelyn was doing with her blackness. She was using her blackness as a weapon against Amber, and you don't do that.
Okay. All right, Miss Bernice. Thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome, sir. Have a good one.
You too. She called me sir, not kiddo this time. I've grown up. If you know Miss Bernice, she always calls in. She always calls me kiddo. Miss Bernice, you still there? You always call me kiddo, Miss Bernice. Oh, she hung up. Damn. She ran. All right, we're gonna bring up Sam next. Hold on. What's going on, Sam?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just wanted to say, I would like everyone just to allow people to identify however way they feel comfortable in identifying. I just find that it's insulting to tell someone what they are and who they are. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not biracial, but I'm East African. And East Africans, we tend to have different features from West Africans. And we're told I've been told my whole entire life by other Black people, you're not Black because your curls are looser, your features are more closer to the Western world. So I just want us to learn how to just accept people for who they are and let them identify however way they want to identify. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for calling in.
You're welcome.
Take care. All right. All right. Aggie is backstage. We're going to bring Aggie up next. What's going on, Aggie?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay. So, I want to bring up a point that it may offend some people, but to me, I've followed Amber for some time. Like, her stories are always problematic. It's almost like Megan. They turn on their blackness when it's beneficial, but if it's not beneficial, then they're white. Just that we Black people like saying, let us support Black people, what and what. But people forget easily that these are two women that always stand against Black if it's not benefiting them. So, and also, BET did this for entertainment because it is not bringing up a good picture amongst Black people. It's not. Because Joseline, we all know she will fight. Amber, we all know. You can't bring those two people to embarrass us like on such a big network. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in, Aggie. All right. Perfect timing, too. All right, guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. We are talking about College Hill, the Celebrity Edition episode. We're taking some callers from our general audience. Savannah's backstage. We're going to bring up Savannah next. What's going on, Savannah?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me on. To get straight to it, a point that I wanted to point out in the show, I just saw the clip today. There was a part where, Amber was battling with Joseline, telling her, when she would have stick up for her Black side and white spaces, oh, you're Black, and when it was the opposite, stick up for your white side and Black spaces, okay, now you're white. You do notice that Joseline, for a while, she was saying, well, I see a Black woman, you're Black, you're Black. The moment things got ugly, Joseline low-key proved her point, says, well, you know what? You're a white girl. You're white. She flipped it on her in a room full of Black students, kind of knowing that that was going to ruffle feathers. She found that trigger in Amber. I don't like the fact that Amber let the Philly out, I guess, and got on her. But Joseline, to me, is very emotionally stunted. Her emotional intelligence is very low. She's a bully. She's showed a lot of ugliness throughout the history of her being on TV. I'd also like to add that I'm a mother of a biracial child. He is half white. He looks similar to my Creole, high yellow Creole grandfather who, just to give you perspective, his coworkers never knew what he was. They finally thought he was Filipino. So when we're talking about ambiguity and how this man, my grandfather, who was actually fully Black, because I've seen both of his parents and grandparents, none of them were white, but he was so fair. His perspective in life was different from my grandmother, who looked just like me, and how he had to really be there for her mental peace. Because imagine, he's from Louisiana, she's from North Carolina. Her experience as a brown-skinned Black woman, 40s, going to Germany, World War II, was still different from his. My son, who I said is actually very ambiguous, like my biracial cousins, to give like experience, sometimes we project our frame of thought, our life onto other people. Our reality can be affected just by our physical presence. We know who we are on the inside, but people, we usually make judgments within the first 10 seconds that we see somebody. And so I know that I'm going to have to prepare my son for not preparing him for my experience as a Black woman, but to appreciate his Blackness, to appreciate his whiteness, because in this world, someone might start speaking to him Spanish like they did my cousin, who also, by the way, didn't get the same experience as a phenotypically full Black male. But trust me, when 9/11 happened, because he's so ambiguous, gets harassed at the airport. He deals with a whole other situation as a half Black, half white male. So I can see how Amber, because how the genetics fell for her, she walks in an experience where she's very fair. Her nose is different. I've seen her with her hair. It is long, kind of like auburnish brown curly. She does not look like a full Black woman. And I've never really heard her change her story saying, I'm fully Black, I'm fully white. It's always been, I'm both. And I'm pretty sure someone has told before, no, you're not Black. And she probably saw, yeah, I guess I'm not a full Black woman, had to own it. So we just have to remember that people, our physical does also affect our reality. You cannot put your reality onto somebody else and dictate to them what their reality should be. They have to know that, and she has every right to say, this is how I identify.
Yeah.
That is all.
Savannah, thank you so much for calling in. All right. All right, guys, we're going to take some more callers. Again, you have to respect the time so I can get to everyone. All right. So once you hear the buzzer, please wrap up your thoughts. All right. We're going to get to some more callers. Hold on. Shanisha, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on, Shanisha?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So I really love this discussion. And I think when I'm listening to today's stream, the two things I'm hearing most is perception and experience, right? So for me, when I look at Amber Rose, I'm a dark-skinned Black woman. I do not believe Amber Rose has had the experience in America of that of a Black woman. I do believe her experience has been different. And I think when we're hearing her speak, she's not saying, I am not a Black woman. She's saying, I don't identify as a Black woman. I'm biracial. She's not saying she's not Black. What she's saying is, I'm a number of things. And because of her experiences, that's the way she identifies. I think that when we're, having these conversations, a lighter skinned Black woman is going to have a completely different experience than that of a darker skinned Black woman. I think that when we're having these conversations about,
Finish the last thought.
I was going to say, when we're having these conversations about people who identify as biracial, when we see people pick a side, usually they're picking a side because either one, people told them to identify as that thing, or number two, they're identifying based on what's most prominent in their household growing up, what cultures they're used to celebrating, and what's more highlighted in their home. I believe Amber Rose has had the experience of a biracial mixed woman. I don't believe she's been more so connected to either or.
All right. Shanisha, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much, Kempire.
Take care. All right. We're going to get to some more callers. We're going to try to get to everyone. So again, respect the buzzer, everyone. Dana, I'm going to bring you up next. What's going on, Dana?
Hey, Kempire. It's Zendaya, not Zendaya. It was playing in my head. I had to say it. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, this makes for great TV, but it makes for like horrible character, like personal character and integrity for both of them, Joseline and for Amber, fighting on TV with kids. They should be past that. Joseline is a very, very unhappy woman. She has all the material things that she wanted, the fame, celebrity, but she's still inside just so sad. People who are happy with good energy don't have time for fights and cursing on TV and doing all this. She is not healed. She thought that all the money and the fame would be the be all end all, and look at her. Look what her legacy is going to be. That's not positive. That's not a happy person. She's very unhappy inside. She needs therapy and she needs to heal. I just, part of me feels bad for her. Not all of it, but she's just very unhappy rich woman, and all that money does nothing for your personal character inside.
Mm.
It's just really sad to see, and then it's on TV for her kids to see when they get older.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
all I gotta say, Kempire. It's Zendaya, not Zendaya. I love you, Kempire.
Bye. If you don't know, then you're new to why she's saying that to me. Okay. Anyways, Miranda, I'm gonna bring you up next. Hold on. What's going on, Miranda?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey, how are
And
you?
hey, everyone. So yeah, what I have to say is I feel like this is a very nuanced topic and discussion, and no one's necessarily right or wrong. It's just, perception, as the previous caller said. And I agree with was it Shanisha? Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but because a lot of it, I agree with her, is how you identify is, who raised you up in the household and obviously society's perception. And I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously, the one drop rule. So like, it's a cultural thing because, you'll find like places like, for example, South Africa, there's a whole different race classification for mixed people. You understand? Like they're their own distinctive race, called colored, like it's separate. So I think it's very much a cultural thing and very much to do with, American history and the one drop rule. But I say to say like even though Amber has had some kind of problematic comments, speaking as a dark skinned woman, I feel like, I don't feel like she's necessarily saying she's ashamed to be Black. I feel like she's just saying of her experience. You understand what I'm saying? And how she identifies, but I don't think she's necessarily saying that she doesn't want to be. I think she's saying, no, I am, this is what I am. I am both of these things, which is true. Like technically, if you do a DNA test on her, you'll find variety of things. And yeah, and that's what I had to say.
Thank you so much for calling,
All right,
Miranda.
bye.
Take care. All right, let's get to some more callers. But first, let me just say thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond, for the super chat. Miss Brooklyn Diamond says, the funny thing is all these people saying biracial people do not have the, quote, Black experience, do not realize they are getting that experience from Black people. All right. DGF, I saved this comment. A lot of the people that are watching us right now don't even know who Darcy and Stacey is, but I do. We see each other, DGF. Darcy and Stacey from 90 Day Fiance. Their dad is Cape Verdean. I forgot about that. Yeah. All right. Let me get to some more callers. LaDawn, I'm going to bring you up next. What's going on, LaDawn?
Hey. Well, first of all, we all are chameleons. We do have to switch up according to what's going on. There's nothing wrong with that. But Joseline is chaotic. She's a troublemaker. She antagonizes people. And I think she's not a fit for the cast. She's ignorant. She's just not a fit. And she knew what she was doing to poke at Amber. She knew that was something Amber struggles with. Because like the other caller said, within our own community, we do have a lot of, oh, I'm lighter than you, you're darker, you're not as pretty, or your hair's more kinkier. I have Native American in me, so I don't have the kinky type of hair, but, I used to get picked on in my neighborhood because of my complexion and my hair. They would pull my hair and stuff like that. So I think Jocelyn knew what she was doing. It wasn't a teaching moment. It was her just being ignorant. But she used that moment that people could have learned from and turned it into verbal violence. And Amber came back with physical violence, which wasn't right when we're trying to show something different, but sometimes just slip up. God is still working. Thank you.
Thanks, LaDawn. Take care. I mean, we had this conversation when we were talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac with Monique. This led to a real big division on people. And look, I am from, I believe in nonviolence. I am not a violent person. I have never had to fight, but if I have to, I'm just saying, because people swear when you say, oh, I've never had a fight, that you're incapable. Don't test me if you see me in the street. No, I'm playing. I'm also a New Yorker. Okay. And Jamaican. Don't play. Look, Anyways, let me get to some more of these callers, guys, so we can wrap this up. Happy Friday. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the physical altercation that happened on the latest episode of College Hill Celebrity Edition. If you're part of the replay crew, as always, we want to know your thoughts. You know, we've had a lot of really great callers share their thoughts, but I want to continue to have this conversation in the comment section. But as always, a reminder, we do not moderate adults. So have your opinion. Let's not attack people for their opinion. All right, let's bring up Nicole next. What's going on, Nicole?
Hey, good evening, Kempire. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I caught you very late. I was at the grocery store. I said, oops, I was supposed to see Kempire. So that's why I'm in this lineup right now. But I saw a snippet of the episode, but my mom is biracial. My mom is a Black American Southern woman, and my grandfather, her father, my grandfather was a white man with blue eyes, but he was adopted by a Black family. And so he had, mannerisms as a Black man. So that's why I never realized until I was 12 years old that my grandfather was a white man, because he would make the meanest collard greens. I'd be out in the garden with him, country boy. And so him and my grandmother were married for 55 years. And so my mom, she's always identified herself as, Black. And then also I'm half West African. So I'm like a true African American. So I get where Amber Rose is coming from, because, even though she's biracial, we're all multiracial. So I hate when people try to separate the two, but I get exactly where she's coming from, because when I grew up both in West Africa and America, and when I would come back, back and forth, I had a dual citizenship. And when I was 18 years old, I had to make a choice. Do you want to be African citizen, or do you want to be an American citizen? Of course, I chose to be American citizen, because I'm looking at us as women around the world. We have better rights in this country, even though we're still struggling, but we have better rights. So what I'm saying is that when Joseline, her spirit is so, she needs to really, really, really heal herself, because the thing is, I understand where biracial kids are like, well, I'm going to claim this parent, I'm going to claim that parent, because you don't want somebody to take something away from you, because once they take one parent away and you're only claiming that one particular side, then it's like, what about this side over here as well? So that was the reason why I brought up the dual citizenship, because I felt like America stripped that away from me. And that's why when people ask me, where are you from? I said, well, I was born in America, but I was raised in West Africa, because that's my way of saying to both my parents, I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to claim both of you. So, and I'm a dark-skinned woman, and my mom, she's red bone. We look just alike. So we had these conversations, because her struggles were totally different than mine. So, but she listened. She's 76, and she's still learning with dark skinnedness and the colorism. So it never goes away. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me go over a time two times.
That's okay. That's okay. Thanks, Nicole.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. We're going to get to some more callers, guys. Again, like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our Kempire Radio podcast channel as well here on YouTube. And subscribe to the podcast Kempire Radio on your favorite podcast platform. We are trying to get over 1,000 5-star, so don't go over there with no 1-star review of our podcast. And yes, a new episode will be coming very soon. Okay. All right. We're going to bring up Karina next. What's going on, Karina?
Hi, Kempire. Hi,
Hey.
everyone.
What's going on?
Just very quickly, I just wanted to know that I am a biracial woman who was raised by a white mother and an absentee father. But I chose to educate myself on my African American heritage, so I identify as Black. And just from seeing the clips, it looks like Amber made it very clear that she did not want to be identified, and Joseline kept pushing. And as someone who was raised by a white mother but identifies as Black, every single time I was forced by someone else to choose a race, I felt like I was disrespecting the woman who raised me. So having to pick her, having to always say, yes, I'm a Black woman, but bump this woman who raised me. And it is a trigger. One of the few things that will set me off is when someone calls me a white girl as an insult, because you're also insulting that whole side of the family that brought me up. So I know violence isn't the answer, but sometimes you got to teach people. And that seems to be how Joseline likes to learn things from what I've seen. I just wanted to bring it up. I'm a huge fan of yours, Kempire, and I absolutely adore you.
Thank you so much, Karina. Thank you
But
so
thank
much.
you, everyone. Let's just keep an open mind and love each other, and let us identify whatever we want. Who cares?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Karina, thank you so much. Take care. We have some really great callers. Shout out to the callers. Look, we don't always have to agree with each other. If you're new to the channel, we say this all the time. We don't always agree. We don't always agree, but it's okay. We have to learn how to disagree, but still love each other and still be able to hang out and have, food. Look, I'm hungry. Okay. Right. Last but definitely not least, we're going to bring up Sir Capricorn. Sir Capricorn, what's going on? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, sir. I know you. Look, Capricorn's at work.
What's up, Kempire? I'm back. All right.
What's going on?
Real quick, so I do not condone violence. I want to make that clear. However, I do understand why Amber was, pushed to that level because we remember she did walk out the first time, and then she came back. I feel like she wanted to walk out again the second time, but Joseline kept pushing the issue. And sometimes when you keep getting pushed basically back into a corner, and you feel like you're back to a corner, sometimes you're going to react, the way somebody wants you to react. And I feel like Joseline wanted her to react that way, and she just ended up doing it. And also just paying attention to what she was saying. What Amber was saying was that she feel like she doesn't fit in these spaces at specific times. Now I'm a full blown black man, but sometimes I feel like I don't fit in the black spaces sometimes because I'm very big. I love country music. I love top 40 music, stuff like that. And my black friends look at me like I'm crazy. And sometimes when I'm, hanging out with my white friends, they look at me like I'm crazy sometimes because I'll say something and they'll be like, well, what is that? So I understand where she was coming from as far as like, culturally, she feels like she doesn't fit in the two spaces that she should, be comfortable in. So, and I feel like, we can't continuously attack someone on their feelings. Their feelings are their feelings. And that was it.
All right, Sir Capricorn, thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Take care. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everyone that called in. Let me switch this back out. We appreciate the open dialogue and we appreciate everyone in the live chat being respectful, for the most part, about this conversation. So next week, the new episode of College Hill Celebrity Edition will be whether or not they're going to expel Joseline and Amber. From what I've seen, Joseline already came out and said that she was expelled from school. I'm not sure. You guys will let me know in the chat or the comment section whether or not we know if Amber was expelled as well. Here's the thing. I know the house doesn't want either one of them to go. They want them to stay. I don't know. Do we get anywhere by expelling both of these people? Here's the thing. Based on what I've seen of Joseline since episode 1 and what I've seen of her on Zeus and Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Joseline's not going to change overnight in this house. And I feel as if Joseline had stayed, that there would have been another altercation. It would have been with maybe someone else. I was dumbfounded when they said, you're going to put Joseline on this show? Really? Does Joseline need to be on this show? I mean, she's over there at Zeus. She had to, remember she told Wendy Williams, I have the #1 show in the country. And she didn't. But she has a show on Zeus. I'm like, did you really need to do this show? But I guess a check. But my thing is if you have this idea of what you want to do for this show, I feel like they thought they were going to get, I guess, the Love and Hip Hop folks and the Zeus folks come over to BT Plus and get those subscribers up. And no, you ended up with a fist fight. And I know Amber was the first one to throw it, but we've been watching the episodes, and you didn't just watch a clip. You didn't just watch a clip about this fight. You've been watching episode 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Then you have seen her behavior has been on the level of bullying. Anyway, Saucy Boy, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. We appreciate you. Shout out to everyone that has become a member this month, this week, and shout out to our members that have been members for a year, 2 years. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all for all of the super chats. Can we get to 1,000 likes? We still have almost 1,200 people watching on multiple platforms. Shout out to everyone that's been watching on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and on Facebook. We appreciate you guys. What do you think the university and the show should have done with these two? Should Joseline have stayed and Amber have stayed and them have a conversation? Just saying, how should have been handled? Look, there are certain schools, let's be honest, that have a zero tolerance policy in regards to physical violence. So if we go by the school standards, then we just have to go by that. not what we think. All right. Some of you said that Joseline is never going to change. Some of you are saying that Amber should have left. I honestly thought that both would end up leaving, but maybe the school decided, well, there's been a history of, here's the thing though. Regardless of this situation, if Amber is bringing up these allegations that she's been bullied, I hope we get to see that the school production investigates, and they talk with the house members as well. What do you guys feel comfortable with? I can't imagine them feeling comfortable with Joseline staying. Parker was happy about this situation because I think Parker also felt bullied by Joseline. So she's probably like happy that Joseline did not end up staying. Anyways, guys, I appreciate the conversation because like I said before, the only reason why we're doing a separate live for this was to have this conversation. We normally recap College Hill Celebrity Edition during our Tuesday takeover where we cover a variety of reality TV, including 90 Day Fiancé, Love in Paradise, 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days. We were just talking about The Ultimatum, Queer Love on Netflix. And we were watching Match Me Abroad. I have a lot of watching to catch up on this weekend. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay, guys? So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow so you don't miss out on anything because we don't just talk about reality TV. We talk about everything in pop culture. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I will see you in the next video, whenever that might be. I'm going to go eat something now. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for the Venmos, Cash Apps, PayPals, the likes. Thank you for those of you that called in. Thank you for those of you that are members, became members. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, after the live, there will be somewhere over here, replay crew, later on crew, that we have the fundraiser that we're doing this month for the Trevor Project for Pride Month. And in honor of Pride Month, head on over to houseofkempire.com for our Pride merch. All right, let's get out of here with some music. All right, what do I want to play? Okay. All right, let's get out of here, y'all.
Walking like a G, sipping Hennessy, president of sweet, looking like a young Barack Obama. Skipping to the beat, giving hella heat. I'ma need a seat just to count up all these dots and commas. I think it's evident I'm the better man, I'm the jam. I'ma have you crushing like a four-wheel monster. Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool. Weight up on my shoulders, all this jewelry on me. I wear my shades inside cause I go blind just looking down. Walking like the man, sipping Chardonnay on the balcony, looking like a young Elvis Presley. I've been overseas, I've been underneath, I ain't never seen nothing like the prison 12 o'clock. I don't know nobody looking like that, I don't know nobody looking like that. I don't know nobody looking like that, I don't know nobody looking like that. Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now